Hey everybody, welcome to the Berea Podcast. This is Troy.
This is Della.
And we've got something special for you. Over the next 4 weeks, we're bringing something to you that is our first series event. In 2008, the Native Bagel Company here in Berea hosted a series of talks called Creative Work, where 4 people shared how they were using creativity in their work for the betterment of everyone. And we've been allowed access to those recordings. So over the next 4 weeks, you're going to hear 4 presentations made at Native Bagel Company with tips and tricks that you may apply to your life. So this first week is focusing on Courtney Howard, and she has a huge internet following. And in this presentation, she talks about how she built her following and offers tips on how to use social media to share your message. So listen in as we go into Native Bagel and hear her presentation.
I want to thank Katie. I've admired what she's done with Native Bagel, just going from a food cart to now this awesome storefront that brings all these cool people together. And I was just really excited when she invited me. I was like, hands down, dude, I'm doing it. And then she wrote out my title, and I was like, you get me. It's really awesome when somebody picks your title and they're like, this chick gets me. This is the person I want to be around. So I'm really excited. I think these creative talks are really good because we can all kind of share and get together here in Berea. There's so many creative and cool people. I mean, you guys are all right here in front of me. So this is awesome. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for having me. Just a quick introduction. I know most of you. If I haven't seen you walking around Berea, then I know you kind of on a personal level. But for the most part, all of you seem pretty creative. You're running your own handmade business. So I'm kind of here to just help you conquer social media in a fun way. So she was saying social media badassery, but I'm kind of looking like badassery means that you feel confident with what you're posting and that you're not consumed by social media, because it's really easy and it's really scary. So storytelling, the way I thought about this is whenever somebody wants to talk to me about social media, the first thing is they just don't know what to do. They're like, I'm afraid to post. I don't know what to post, or it's just overwhelming. So I thought I would compare this to my favorite Native Bagel meal. Okay, so stick with me here. So think of we're all kind of a bagel, okay? I've got this on notes, so we're going to keep track of these notes here because I didn't want to confuse you. But we're all bagels, okay? We're this infinite circle of possibilities, meaning that you have so many things going on, or you can choose so many things to talk about, to do. We're all full of infinite possibilities. Some of us might be a little salty, or some of us might have little fruity pieces to us, like a raisin bagel, which is my preferred bagel. But we all have our own little characteristics. We're all that whole bagel. And then when you think about it, we all have a light and a dark side. Maybe we have more than one, multiple personalities. But I like to say a light and a dark side. So that's where the bagel gets cut and we become separated. And then the glue to our bagel is, of course, the delicious in-between that sticks us together, which I like to refer to as our passions or passion. And my preferred passion is the honey rosemary, which is, when you think about it, it's 2 kind of contradictory flavors that come together and are very satisfying. So when you think about your passions, you want to think there's only maybe 1 to 2 to 3 flavors. There's no more. And there could be, maybe 1, but those are your passions. Those are what I like to say, that's where your light and your dark side, your 2 bagel halves, come to play. So you want to think about that when you're posting on social media. So then we have this delicious bagel sandwich. Man, it's going to taste really good, but we need something to wash it down. So, of course, my go-to is my iced mocha latte. I like to call this the hype. This is what is going to flow, allow everything to flow. This is what's going to keep you consistent, and it's going to keep you excited. So your hype, your drink, it could be, what is that? The golden milk latte. It could be water. It's whatever is your own little flavors. Like we said, flavors. Think of your flavors. So when you think about that as a whole, and then that's served to me, I'm ready to eat every bit of it because it's all put together just right by Katie. So, like what I wanted to focus on with that and kind of go deeper in is just to rephrase like about all that is that, okay, so like going back to the cream cheese, I think the major important thing is, like I said, you can have two opposite passions, but you want to find a way to make them come together so that the taste in your mouth or the taste for other people or how it comes across is connected. You want that connection. So the last thing the other thing I want to talk about is what is your purpose for social media? Because that's another thing that can actually steer how you're going to post. So you can, like, for example, I have my business account, strictly business. I have a personal account, which is private. That I like to use for, like, a journal, like a reflection. I, like, post intimate pictures on there. But that is all for me to just, it's not really for other people to like or comment or me to get followers. It's more like me to look back because I've always been a journal, photograph, kind of like reflection kind of person. Now, you may not want to post, your own personal stuff. Maybe you're satisfied with just seeing things come and go. So maybe that's not for you. But if you have a business, then you're more focused on what is your purpose. This is very strategic. You don't want to have your business. What do you do? Why do you do it? You don't want to get a business page and then say, hey guys, I had a really crappy morning. This is this really ugly sandwich that I ate because I feel like I got to post because this is social media. And if I don't post, I feel like so think about that. And that's where I said, like, your hype and your excitement. Sometimes I give myself a strict purpose, even on my personal page, of why I'm posting. That way, when I feel the need, like, to post, it's not something that's really just a waste of my time, if that makes any sense. You want to make it worth your time. You don't want to get stuck. This is so cool. I love this. We're, like, flowing this morning. We got the juices. I like it. So let me think here. So my point is that your excitement, when I first started off posting on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that, I would use it kind of as inspiration to, like, go out and take pictures, go for a walk, go to an event, go do something local, go visit someone. I would just use it as a way to get out because I'm self-employed. I make jewelry. I sit at home almost all day. I'm really not super extrovert, even though when I get out in public, it seems that way. But it's mainly because I spend a lot of time inside. And so when I do get time, that's my little bit of extrovert spent. But in the beginning, and still to this day, I say, I would love to be out in nature more. So when I go to nature, if I'm feeling good, I take several shots. Then I kind of have those shots stashed away. And when I can think of that connection and what that brought in my life, I might steer it toward my business page. Because my business page is two flavors. You have nature, and then you have jewelry. And then I try to tie those together, and then I'll usually post one or the other. So you don't want too many things going on your business page. I will say, though, with the new Insta stories, my tip with that is that's where you can just dump it all. Like, you could just get on there and be like, I'm having a really bad day, or you could just share really random stuff because that stuff is just really your real life, the Insta stories for now. It's all changing, of course. But I think if you really feel like you got to dump, your Insta story is where you can dump whatever you want to dump. So the other thing that I usually post, the only other thing I post in my business feed is usually about small businesses, like when I come into Native Bagel, which is really exciting because when I come into Native Bagel, I just want to post. It's beautiful in here. It's inspiring. It makes me want to work harder. So I want to share that with my followers. It's not really about, I'm going to get a free bagel. It's really, I love this place. I'm going to pay for the bagel. I'm going to post about it. And then in turn, here I am. So you have to think about also, like, when you do what you love and when you put into your posts yourself, you don't want to overdo it. But when you really show what you love and your passion, it's all going to come back to you. The whole bagel, the circle, infinite possibilities. It's all good. Give and you get. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else really. How are we doing on time here? We got. So the other thing I'll talk about real quick is, for example, there's other ways that you can have an Instagram. You can have one for your business. Like I said, that can be like 2 flavors. You just want to make those flavors taste good going down. You can have your personal page, which you're not really it just depends on your purpose with your personal page. Maybe you want a personal page and you talk about fitness. You're not really trying to make sales, but maybe you have more specific flavors. But like I said, you can have a personal page where it's just my purpose is, this is for my reflection. That's where you don't need to overthink it. But by dialing down or like stepping back and like looking at your purpose, then you don't overthink it. You're not thinking all day about what to post. When you do have a picture, you don't have to post it if it doesn't fit into what your point is with your Instagram, if that makes sense, or your Facebook. I'm like focused on Instagram, but this is Facebook, Snapchat. I'm still like interested in that new Vero app that everybody's like sharing, but we'll see if I can get into that. But anything like that, you just want to focus in on a purpose because you don't want to spend all day on social media. It's really not going to get you anywhere. The other thing that I want to say is if you do want to gain followers or likes, the biggest thing that you want to do is communicate with other people who you are interested in. This is not just communicate with whoever you see. This is how it ties to you, and maybe you want to meet this person. This is where you're going to comment, engage, and you're going to ask like a question, or maybe you write back to their Insta story. I like to write back to Insta stories right now because I just feel like that's really personal. It's not like, oh, I want everyone to see my comment. This is more like, hey, I love that you posted this, or you're really inspiring me today, and it's fun to watch. So think about that. Really, engagement is like when you go to a party, kind of. Except the cool thing is that it's more personal because you actually see the person's life. So if you do want to gain your audience, the biggest thing to do that isn't going to cost you money is just to engage. And sometimes, like I said, it's not really dropping an emoji, but maybe like just leaving a comment that inquires about this person, what they posted, what their thoughts were. Another thing is the endless pit of social media I want to talk about. Because, yeah, social media is great for finding people and sharing what you love and stuff, but I think the major thing, like the one thing that I want to get across, is that we don't want to be sucked into a pit. We don't want to be highly influenced by other people where we start to accidentally mimic what they're doing, because none of that gains anything. So what I like to do, my rule is that I schedule out my post every day, because consistency is key too. So like at most I'll post twice a day. It'll be one post about my own personal thoughts that connect with my business, which is like nature and how I feel. Not too much how I feel, but kind of just basic, if that makes sense, kind of narrow it down or water it down. And then I'll post like a jewelry post. That's my theme. So I'll go back and forth with that, like post each one. And then it looks really cool on your feed. So if you think about that, if you have 2 flavors or 3 flavors and you post, so I'll post it like 12 and like 4. But really it's up to you. And there's really no right or wrong time to post anymore, because it doesn't even follow in this algorithm of whatever. So, just post consistently because that's where people see you, and that's where you're going to get refreshed and where you're going to be on people's minds. Trying to think of what else I was going to say about that. Posting consistently is key. Just having those 2 flavors or 3 flavors, but I would say no more. Your flavors are your passion, what tastes good. And then what I was going to say was not getting stuck in this trap of social media. So if you schedule out, like, I'm only going to post at this time, and I'm only going to spend 10 minutes commenting. That's it. That's my time. I just spent 10 minutes in the bagel shop. I'm going to comment for 10 minutes. That's what you should do. You don't want to keep scrolling. You don't want to type in people over and over again and obsessively look at what they're doing because it's not going to help, unfortunately. Your biggest inspiration is to put the phone down and be present. And that's the hardest thing ever. And especially when you go to like a cool event and everyone's on their phone and you're like, well, I guess, maybe I'll get on my phone. Just try to like put it aside and then carry a notebook or a pen or a pencil. And when you have like a brilliant thought or something that goes through your head that you feel really strongly about, write it down. And then later, when it's 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you have something that's really like purposeful that you're going to post. But like I said, if you have like a personal account, I think that's kind of, your purpose is just always your purpose is what's going to keep you from drowning in social media, your purpose. So if your purpose, like your personal account is I'm just going to reflect my thoughts and share personal pictures of what I'm proud of, then I think that's great. You can post whatever you want. So those are the kind of the 2 dueling things that I have going on. And it feels good because I can post on my business and I don't feel like I'm exposing myself to however many people might see this, whereas my private account, I'm like, these people, they don't really, they're not really worried about what I'm saying on here. It's really just me. So I think I covered it pretty well, which was really quick. Let me try to think really quick if there's anything else. I guess the only other thing I would say is whenever Instagram or somebody comes up with an update, it's really aggravating, and people want to be like, I can't do social media because they keep changing everything, and I can't believe that this is happening. And this is a horrible voice to use because this is me. I have done this. But what I want to say is that, okay, yeah, everything's going to change. Maybe these social medias will fall off the face of the earth. I don't know. But you want to like absorb kind of these changes and just at least tinker in them. Kind of think of them as like if you're an artist and you have these tools, try these new tools. Just look into them and just do it. Don't think I don't know how to do this yet, so I'm not going to try it. Just grab it and use the tool. It's like Insta Stories. I was like, as soon as Insta Stories came out, I was like, I'm hitting this. Like, I'm going to do it. And I was like, it's beneficial to hit something like that early versus way later because when I started my Insta Stories, like as soon as I posted, I would get like thousands of views. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And now it's kind of trickled down to about half that. So it's better to jump on these new exciting things and just say, how am I going to put my twist on this or how am I going to use it? You can't do anything wrong. The best thing you can do is twist it in your own way. It's like creating a piece of artwork, like a photographer, like just having your own style. You're not really, you haven't mimicked anybody's style. It's fun to mimic somebody's style like just for fun or just to try something to expand your mind. But in general, you want your own style. You don't want to be like this other person. And that's what people are attracted to. They're attracted to the person that does it different. Pro tip, when I started on Etsy, the reason I succeeded was because everybody was like the white background. This was like 2011. They were like, put your items with a white background. White background's going to stick out. The thing is the front page would only pick white backgrounds. So that's what everybody was like, you have to do white backgrounds if you want to be on the front page. But what happened is I refused to do the white background only because of my personal thing. I just couldn't stand it. And I just went out in nature and took creative shots with my jewelry. And that's actually what would cause like trending sales, which was crazy. Like, that's kind of hard, but it's always like, you got to think like that. Like, that always happens when you kind of go against the grain. People are used to people that do the same thing, like the white backgrounds. Of course, that's all changed now on Etsy too. Everything's changing every day. So have fun, experiment, explore, use the new tools, create that height, because your bagel's not going to get washed down. You know, it's going to get stuck in your throat. Yeah, you're awesome. Your passions are cool, but you got to have your excitement for life, which is if you're into like nature, then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to go for a walk and I'll catch a few cool pictures because this is part of my business. And you'd be surprised. The more that you practice this and think of it as your favorite bagel meal, I say, the more that you're going to actually discover like the purpose of your life. That sounds really crazy. But if you use it correctly and you don't drown, keep track and like make sure that you're kind of on top of yourself. How much time are you spending on your phone versus how much time are you practicing this life, this real life that you're posting? Think about it like that. So I'm going to thank you all for coming, because this is the key to wrapping this up before I ask questions. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy. Like, I love small business. I love everyone in this room. I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be so intimidated right now because you all are so cool and you guys are doing such awesome things. And I just love to be out and watching. And sometimes I'm a little quieter. Sometimes I'm a little loud. But that's me. That's my dark side, my light side. And the passions are where I play, the cream cheese and the good flavors. So remember that, and I'm going to open it up to some questions. And we'll hit with Laura in the back.
Thank you so much, Courtney, for sharing. And Katie and Michael, thank you for allowing us to share the recording. And it comes at an opportune time. Coming up on February 10th from 5 to 7, Courtney is hosting a workshop at Native Bagel Company in the evening. And the topic is self-love. It's a ticketed event where you learn a meditation, make a necklace, and it's an opportunity for personal growth. As I said, it's a ticketed event. So go over to the website, run2thewild.com. Again, that's run2thewild.com, but 2 is the number 2 rather than TO. So thank you so much for listening, and tune in next week. Anything you'd like to add, Della?
Bye.
Bye.
Today is why I stay.